Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Friends, today we will be talking about motivating oneself. And motivating oneself is the self motivation. And in this topic, we will discuss about motivation and self motivation, self motivational process, and then we will link the self motivation to brain mechanisms to derive certain strategies to motivate yourself. Motivation is derived from the Latin word movere, which means to move, and motivation relates to the force, stimulus or influence that guide people to do the things they do. It is a call for action or behavior. In Indian psychophilosophical systems as well as in Freudian systems, motivation is something to attain pleasure and avoid pain. Conceptually, there are three components of motivation. One is direction, what the person is trying to do, effort, how hard the person is doing it, persistence, how long a person continues to do it. Take the story of a person who was making a statue in Milan. Milan is the city in Italy, and the sculptor was making the statue in the corner of a city. Another sculptor was standing nearby. He asked the maker of the statue, why you are putting so much of effort and doing it consistently, and because the statue is located in the corner of the city, nobody will come to see it. Then the maker of the statue replied, if I do not see it, the God is at least seeing it. So therefore, I will do the job as per my conscience. Here it sets a symbolic message to the other person. It says that savvy work is not expected out of me. The work I do must bear the seal of excellence and perfection in it. And when the sculptor was making the statue, he was trying to do it, putting the hard work to do it and complete it, and he was not suspending the job or socializing with others till the making of the statue is completed. So, it shows the motivation of the individual to do a particular job. And in this context, let us now discuss what is this motivational process. And the motivational process speaks that individual has certain drives, needs and wants or expectations. The needs can be physiological or it can be social. The lower order needs are the needs for food, cloth and shelter. The higher order needs can be need for self esteem, actualization or love and affiliation needs. So, these needs when these are not satisfied as per the individual, they arose certain tensions, and these tensions lead to certain internal or external behavior. And by the external and internal behavior of the individual reaches the goal and satisfies the need, and there is a tension reduction and need satisfaction. But human being is all the time a wanting animal. If one need is satisfied, another need will pop up. Again the individual tension will be aroused. Again he will show the behavior and make attempts to reach the goal what he wants to achieve. But in between the behavior or the activities and the goal, there may be certain barriers, obstacles, so that the individual may not reach the goal. If the individual wants to reach the goal to become a graduate from IIT, then in that case he must be qualifying at the graduate aptitude test. Suppose he does not qualify. If he does not qualify, then in that case the goal is not realized. He is studying seriously, making attempts to do the job, regularly doing the exercise for that, so that he can score a good rank in GATE exam and enter for graduate study in IIT. Because he is unable to qualify in GATE, automatically there is a failure. He is not able to reach the goal, and the failure may lead to frustration, aggression, or certain compensatory behavior in terms of defense mechanisms in the part of the individual. All of us meet the failure. Failure is a stepping stone to success. Some people are there with few failures, they will become frustrated, they will become aggressive, they will show some defense mechanisms. But some other persons are there, those who will with failures, they will try again and again till they reach this success, and that is called the functional coping. One is dysfunctional coping, where the failure is associated with the frustration, aggressions, identification with other person to justify his behavior or rationalizing his behavior by giving a false reason in case of a true reason, and so on. But some people are there, they can divert the goal. If I cannot enter into IIT, then I can go to some other colleges to do the graduation. So therefore, all of us go for a substitute goal, but continuous failure in the main goal will breed frustration in certain individuals, and they will take recourse to defense mechanisms to justify themselves, whereas for other individuals every failure will be a stepping stone to learn and grow, and they will learn from their mistakes, and they will develop themselves, and they will surpass the difficulties, and that is called a functional coping behavior. With continuous failure, if all the time the individual shows the defense mechanism, frustration, aggression, compensatory behavior, then in that case the normal behavior of the individual turns abnormal, and this is called a dysfunctional coping behavior. Having said about this, then this motivation is basically a need satisfying and goal seeking behavior. Even if it is the direction, three dimensions we have identified, that is the direction, effort and persistence, basically it is a need satisfying and goal seeking behavior. And there are certain characteristics of this motivation. One is that motivation is a psychological force that contributes to a person's degree of commitment. It includes drives and desires for goal attainment that regulate the direction, intensity and persistence of human action. As in the case of the maker of the statue, you can understand that when he was making the statue, at that time he was consistently concentrating on the job what he or she was doing. and he was putting effort constantly so that the job is completed, and he is not chatting or he was not chatting or socializing with others till the job was completed, and that was his persistence in the job. Similarly, and the desires and drive cause behavior, but but they may be the result of behavior. For example, a person's desire for accomplishment may be made keener by the satisfaction gained from achieving a preferred goal, or it may be dulled by failure. Motivation is not independent of environment. For example, people in business, those who have the reputation for excellence, quality and service, tend to continue in the same fashion to keep their reputation intact. And also, what motivates one individual may not be the same for another individual. Money may be a motivator for some people, but as one grows in life, then the desire of the brain dominates over the desire of the belly. The person may wants to do something by which he can contribute something to the community. He can do excellent job which will be recognized. So, the desire of the brain, the desire of the brain dominates with the growing age, which may not be so in the case when one starts a career. And the motivation for each person changes from time to time, even if the person behaves in the same way. If the person is getting a promotion by working in the organization, in the next time once he gets the promotion, he will work harder in order to get more promotions quicker. So, therefore, motivation of the person changes from time to time, and motivation of the people is beyond this carrot and stick approach. It comes from the idea, you show the carrot in front of the donkey and jab him behind with a stick, the donkey will move. This is in the case of human beings. The parallel is that you give the money, the person will be motivated to do certain things, and financial reward is completely linked with motivation. But think of the people, great motivated people like Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi. They were driven by a cause, and they wanted to achieve that. They are not driven by money. So, therefore, what your inner core wants to do, what your inner self wants you to do, that will be the propeller of your behavior, and you will find that you have a passion to do that. And lastly, motivation requires periodic recharging. In winter months, we continuously keep the heater on, so that heat will be there in the room. If you off the heater, heat will escape and will experience cold. Similarly, once the people are motivated, then the conditions and the ambience must be created in such a way, so that that motivation can be sustained over a period of time till their goals are achieved, or the situations in the organizations, the conditions through coaching, counseling, mentoring, education, participation in goal seeking, participation in goal setting, problem solving, decision making, this should be sought in such a way, so that the motivation of the person will continue till the organizational goals are achieved or the productivity hits the plateau. Having said about the characteristics of the motivation, you can easily understand that the motivated people are those who can transform their lethargy to energy, desire to determination, aspiration to achievement, and non utilization of their skill, knowledge and attitudes to the utilization of the same. And the motivated people, that they will take responsibility, they will put effort willingly, they will give their best, adhere to quality, show performance and feel committed to the organization they serve. Contrarily, in case of non-motivated people, you will be finding absenteeism, increased accidents, wastage of raw materials, violent behavior, indiscipline, sloppy work habits, apathy, errors in assembling materials, filing and reporting. Once these demotivated symptoms surface, then steps must be taken by the organization or by the environment, so that the dysfunctional behavior of the employees can be arrested through counseling, rewards or other means. And there are, to explain these motivations, there are very many theories are there, and the theories can be broadly classified into two categories. One is called the content theory, another is called the process theory. The content theory speaks that the needs and in what order the needs will drive the individual to do certain things or energize the individual to do certain things. Contrarily, the process theory speaks how the individual feels motivated, what goes on in the mind of the individual to initiate, continue or stop a behavior. And some of the theories I have mentioned which are relevant to the self motivation, and this will be discussed briefly. Say in Maslow's theory, it says that there are 5 needs in the hierarchy, and the individual, as you see in the transfer, as you see here, the individual will try to satisfy the needs one after the another. First he will satisfy the physiological needs, need for hunger, thirst, sex and so on. Then he will go to satisfy the safety and security needs like house, living in a good community area. Then he will go to satisfy the belongingness and love needs, where he can give love and get love. Then he will satisfy the self-worth needs through recognition, through competency in having skill, knowledge and attitudes and getting recognition from others. And lastly, he will satisfy the self-actualization needs. The self-actualization need speaks that the individual will do what he internally feels to do, and the internal, the higher self, what the individual internally wants to do. Maybe the individuals may like to be a good parent or a good artist, recognized artist, or a scientist or a lawyer or a good spouse. So, therefore, what he internally wants to be, if he can become that, that is the stage of self actualization. However, in the modern organizations, the self actualization hardly occurs, because they fail to connect what the individual internally wants to do and what he is doing on the job. If there is a proper connection between the two, then the individual will satisfy his self actualization needs even working in the organizations. Next is another is the Hedgeberg's theory, which is a 2-factor theory. The theories are factors are intrinsic and extrinsic. Extrinsic factors are external to the job, like working hours, fringe or extra benefits, salary, welfare facilities, these are external to the job. So, also interpersonally external factors related to the job are relationship with peers, relationship with subordinates and relationship with superiors. And there are certain needs which is called intrinsic. That means, when the person is doing the job, is the person feeling that he is growing, there is a sense of achievement, there is a sense of advancement, and the job is exciting and challenging to the individual. These are called the intrinsic needs. And his main theme is that intrinsic needs are the motivator of behavior compared to the extrinsic needs. And it was long back, it was in around 1960 that the theory came into existence, and the two-factor model was accepted. Similarly, Markland's another need theory is that, which speaks about the three types of needs, like need for achievement, which mentions a desire to do something better compared to past, and there is a need for affiliation, the desire to establish the relationship, and there is a need for power, that is the desire of the need, the ability on the part of the individual to exert the influence on others. So, these needs are acquired and it can be taught, and this need for achievement is equated with entrepreneurial potential, and these needs vary from one individual to another individuals. The achievement oriented persons all the time try to do better compared to the past. They want to do something which will benefit the society and increase their personal importance, rather than the money they can earn. But here, in need for achievement, the individual wants to get a constant feedback how well he is doing, and if in the need for achievement where there is a desire to constantly scale up your success, in that case, if the fear of failure is greater than the fear of success, then the individual will not succeed in life. If the hope of success is greater than the fear of failure, hope of success is greater than the fear of failure, then it will drive the individual to march forward. And similarly, there are other theories, and the process theory, like it says that injustice, I am giving certain things to the organization in terms of my experience, in terms of my skill, knowledge and attitudes, and performing a job, and what I am getting from the job in terms of remuneration and other things. So, the individual compared his outputs and his inputs, or person's outcomes divided by person's input with those of the others. If it is equal, then he experiences the justice, otherwise injustice will prevail, which will lead to anxiety, tension, frustration, leaving the organization, persuading other employees to leave the organization, and so on. Another theory, the expectancy theory of Broom, which says that the force to act is a function of expectancy into valency. And here valency is the attractiveness of an outcome, whereas expectancy, the extent to which an individual believes that certain action will result in a particular outcome. That means, if I do the hard work, then it will lead to promotion, and preceding to the hard work, before every day I will give the call to my customers, so that I can sell more products, and this hard work will lead to the promotion. And by getting the promotion, my job responsibility I may feel that it may be attractive to me or it may be unattractive to me. So, the person, if he feel that by getting promotion I will be fired, I will not able to accomplish the goal, then it has a negative valency for him. If the person feels that by getting the promotion I will get social recognition, my financial condition will improve, and so on, that means the valency has got a positive valency. The multiplicative force of these two things decide whether he will have the force to act or not. Put it in simple term, motivation is determined by what people expect as rewards for their effort and the importance or the value attached to rewards, attached for rewards to them. Another theory is a goal setting theory, which mentions that if the persons self set the goal, and even if it is a difficult goal, then the person will attain the goal. A specific, important and difficult but attainable goal, when accepted, leads to higher performance than the general, unimportant and easy goal. So, self motivation, when in this context, that means if the person himself decides the goal and specify the goal to reach, he will easily achieve it. In the context of this, we have to talk about, keeping these theoretical perspectives, we will talk about self motivation. Most research on motivation are conducted in factory type of organization in Western countries, where the machine metaphor dominates. Man is a cog in the wheel, more likely he is more like a robot, and his switch must be put on and off by administering rewards and punishments respectively. And all the process theories and the content theories you have learnt, the dominant theme is that employees will work harder and smarter only when they are given some specific economic rewards, such as hiking pay, bonus, performance based compensation and so on. But the self conscious human being is beyond this input output calculus. We have seen the instances where everything seems the same to everybody, but one person decides and invests his or her energy and efforts, while others just hang back. In the same laboratory, with same level of education, experience and competency, and with same infrastructure, why do few scientists surpass their colleagues? Why do some employees outperform their peers under the same operating conditions? So, the answer to is that if you have will to work, you will do the work, and that is what self motivation is. And you will find out the ways and means to accomplish the goal without pointing out ungenuine constraints, lack of resources, non cooperation of colleagues, etc. Therefore, the annual calendar of Tata Steel in 1995 rightly mentioned at the top, will to work, will to win. And this self motivation, when you talk about the key to success, is knowing yourself. Who am I? What are the goals of my life? And create an extraordinary life. You may have trouble in studying, you may have trouble in business, trouble in interacting with others, or feeling engaged in work, or you may set a goal for accordingly you can set a vision for yourself. And the vision is that it is a picture in your mind that you want, that must match with your passion, and you must have a love for that. In order to find out the vision for your life, hear the voice of your inner self. You reflect, meditate and visualize what you internally like to do. And when you ask yourself what I internally want to do, that means the inner self in the individual, what he wants to do or what he likes to do compared to the outer self will come out. And therefore, Einstein said, if you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or objects. And for this, to be feel self motivated with your vision and passion, first is that you do a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis speaks about the strength, it speaks about the strength of the self, weakness of the self, which are individual specific. It also speaks about the opportunities and threats which are available in the micro environment. Say for example, you want to be a good researcher. So, in order to be a good researcher, you must graduated from a institute or from a educational college, and to be a good researcher, the first step is that your graduation degree. and then you apply some national tests, then you will do MS. Then after the MS, then you can go for some national test conducted by UGC or by the GATE and so on. So, once you appear the national test and clear the national test, then you will able to do the PhD. So, the strength, if you map within yourself, your strength may be like that, you have good analytical skills, you have a reflective mindset, like so on you will go on listing, you have a good mathematical bent of mind and you have good modeling skills, and more likely you are likely to be a good researcher. But the weakness, you similarly you can point out 1 to 10 in the yourself. After reflecting, you can point out that I have good ability, but at the same time I do not have good articulation power. I do not write very well in English. So, this may be your weakness. You may have analytic skills, reflective skills, mathematical ability, but at the same time and complex problem solving skills, but at the same time you do not have good language skills as well as articulation power. That is your weakness. And the opportunities in the micro environment is that you can study, do the MS, then you can clear the national test, and then you can enter into a PhD for doing a PhD in a good institute. The threat in the environment is that if you do not have the good writing ability in relation to your weakness, and if you do not have good articulation power, perhaps good companies may not hire you, or you may not get a good job in a good educational institutes. Once you list this strength and weakness of yourself and see the opportunities available in the micro environment and the threats that pose to you in the micro environment, you can make the adjustment accordingly. That means, in order to override the, in order to cross the threats, what you need to do during your career of research, you have to develop your writing skill as well as the articulation power, so that you can publish more papers and it will be recognized by industry or by a good educational institute where you can fetch a career in research. So, therefore, by doing the SWOT analysis, you can smoothen the achievement and career change, and you can develop your new skills, knowledge and interests, and you can motivate yourselves. And for motivating yourselves, one important thing, as you have said earlier, is the goal setting for self motivation. Read the success stories of leaders, executive, reformers and others available in book, journals, internet sites and business magazines, and set a moderately difficult, challenging but achievable goal considering your competency in accordance with the Locke's goal setting. Because if you set a goal which is beyond your competency and ability, you may not achieve it. The set goals needs to go with your passion, as likely the self actualization in Maslow's theory. You must have a love of doing it. If the goal is too difficult, it becomes impossible to succeed and creates a negative attitude towards the goal. If the goal is too easy, it kills the motivation to work hard. A self-set difficult goal affects your attention, effort and persistence, and you must able to set the goal for yourself and break down the main goal or the long term goal into different short term goals to make each goal more specific rather than general. Decide the priority of the goals, set the deadlines for the accomplishment of each goal, try with the easiest short term goal, initiate actions, improve your skill, knowledge and attitudes, and accomplish the short term goal, and likewise you will go on accomplishing one goal after another till you complete the long term main goal. Get the feedback based on your actions and new expertise, assess how well you are progressing towards the goal. With every success, reward yourself, celebrate with friends, continue similarly with other short term goals till you accomplish the long term goal. This is a process similar to plan, do, check and act. And here is a story of Dave. Dave from early childhood thought to have a hotel which is one of the best hotel in the world. As a boy, he had not a very good childhood, parents were divorced and he had never met his biological father. Every day he wrote in his diary that I will make a hotel which will be one of the best hotel in the world. So, in order to do so, he tried to do work after studying. After studying he tried to work in hotels, earned some money, deposited the money. When opportunity came, he started with a small hotel. And knowingly that whatever money he is investing, it may be a complete loss or it may be a complete success. He invested the money and he worked hard, consistently worked hard to reach his goal, and ultimately they made a hotel in USA which is a $20 billion business now. So, this is how you can set a goal for yourself, try to achieve it, know about the business, know the tricks of the trade, then attempting to enter into the trade, then working hard to achieve the success, and finally you are reaching your goal that you internally wants to achieve. Sometimes inspirations from well wishers, mentors, gurus, they will also initiate your self motivation. You know about the great work of Kurukshetra. Arjuna was grieved with despair and despondency and was reluctant to slay the noble minded elders and his kinsmen. Sri Krishna with persuasive logic made Arjuna aware of his duties and inspired him. Sri Krishna mentioned, either killed in battle, you will attain heaven, or being victorious, you will enjoy the earth. In either case, you will only be the gainer. Performing one's duty in the war field is the only way to salvation. Such dialogue leading to awareness and inspiration from Sri Krishna elevated Arjuna to a higher plane, and it led to action. So, also the superiors others can do to you to transform you from inaction to action. Many of the NGOs, those who are working in the rural areas and involved in micro planning, they also do the same. Identify the needs of the people, then prepare the plan with the involvement of the people, then execute the plan with the involvement of the people, which ultimately transform their life. So, initiating from the need and the goal identification to success is a step which is also crossed in micro planning in rural areas. And what we have told, that motivation is a state, not just psychological, but also biochemical. If you know a bit of brain chemistry, you can use some of the specific ways to sharpen your motivation. Low dopamine levels can lead to lack of motivation, fatigue, addictive behavior, mood swing, and memory loss. There are about 86 billion neurons in the human brain. They communicate with each other through brain chemicals called neurotransmitters. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that is the key factor in motivation, productivity, and focus. Then learn how to increase your dopamine naturally. Here are some tips. Believe in yourselves. Build your identity as a go-getter by forming mental movies of yourself, feeling motivated and achieving your goal. Surround yourself with others who believe in you as well. Research shows that being told you will perform well by others releases dopamine too. And in psychological term, we call it the self-efficacy. If the person feels that he has the ability to perform, his ability to adjust with the adversities or ability to surpass the difficulties, he can do it. And recall the present past memories. A study showed that recalling and describing a positive memory of task increases motivation in that area. So, recall your past performance, excellent past performance, maybe your success in past or in recent present. Set a achievable goal, because as we mentioned earlier, in order to achieve a goal, you have to try with these sub goals. And when you try with the sub goal, dopamine is produced every time you achieve something, no matter how small it is. The brain enjoys frequent feedback to let it know things are progressing towards a final goal. Collaborative hobbies of all kinds, like knitting, sewing, drawing, woodworking, home repairing, all these things brings the brain to a meditative stage. These activities increase dopamine and protect against brain aging. Listening to music also can release dopamine. It does not mean that you will listen to music, even thinking to that you are just anticipating of listening to music can release dopamine. Use the mind, because you can strengthen any circuit of the brain by simply using it more, making it easier to go that way naturally next time. If you do the mental work in old age, the brain center will be continuously activated. Laugh yourself to be happy. The average child laughs 300 times a day, but the adults laughs only 5 times a day. Laughter is the best medicine. One way laughter works to reduce pain, boost your immune system and increase happiness by boosting the level of dopamines. Exercise with others, so that you can get the signal from others how others are performing and how well they are performing. Other performance will be the motivator for you. Drink coffee, because coffee is known to release dopamine into the brain, as well as having the ability to increase your mental focus. There is evidence for this. Take nutritious food that you like, that will release dopamine. Your motivation is based on your own introspection and change in the mindset, and practicing certain activities to realize your goal in life. And even if in organization there are different ways to motivate the individual, if you yourself can motivate you to do certain things, that is the best way to succeed in life and surpass others and go ahead. Thank you.